Random disclaimer.
What is up, Booty Tribe? It's your girl Nadja here, aka The Booty Child, and I am back with a part 2 to my tech conspiracy theory video. So I did not think I was gonna make this part 2, but more stuff kind of happened after I posted it that I was like, dang, I really wish I would have put that in the video. So here I am. If you guys have not seen part 1, I highly advise going and watching it first. Okay, here, this is the title and stuff. Highly advise watching it first because I'm going to be connecting a lot of dots to that video specifically. And yeah, this video also isn't going to be that long because I'm telling you, this should have been in that other video. So my apologies if I get a little rambly. I do have a list to help me. I'm sorry if I annoy y'all whenever I say I got a list, but you know what? Some of us need lists in life to function. Sorry. So yeah, get your blizzies, your Capri Sun, your water, whatever you gotta do to relax and stay hydrated, because we're about to get into some creepy, freaky stuff that has to do with the tech world. Now, reminder, mind y'all, all of these stuffs are rooted in facts. I am just saying a theory based on the fact, like where I think we're going to be going in the future based off of these facts. So the first thing I wanted to talk about where I was like, oh my God, how did I forget this? The fact that we made this huge leap, nuclear fusion.
It starts with a bunch of giant lasers that when fired at once mimic explosions of nuclear weapons, creating energy.
Okay, so like for those of you guys that are really confused about like what the hell this means for us, y'all know in Iron Man, that thing that he has to keep his body going, he uses it as an energy source. Yeah, that's nuclear fusion. That's how he's keeping himself alive. He's not using the energy of the sun. It could get wet. Like he's using, it's like, I'm gonna have it explained.
Without a giant magnetic bottle and without the gravity of a star. Mm-hmm. And so this is the first time, by all accounts, they've gotten more heat out than they put in. To make this happen continuously, what you do is capture the heat, and almost certainly capture the heat, boil water and make steam and run a turbine, just as we do now in a coal-fired plant or a natural gas-fired plant or a nuclear plant, if we're using fission.
I'm with you. That is thermonuclear fusion. Thermo is hot. Nuclear is the nucleus. Right. Fusion, they're bringing it together. It manifests on the other side of the equation as energy. And they got 50% more energy out of this than the energy of the lasers that went into it. Even regardless of the carbon footprint that it doesn't have, it would transform civilization. But it also happens to not have a carbon footprint. So we could stave off this growth of fossil fuel burning and greenhouse gases, and we'll still have to recover from the damage we've already done, because a lot of the carbon dioxide got took into the oceans.
I'm sorry, but I'm dying over here laughing. I'm sorry, Neil, but like, why were you talking like a valley girl with a question mark? Let me shut up. I'm sorry, y'all.
So it's just like they're all being thrown at each other and the output is bigger than the input. So inadvertently, we have successfully created an energy that does not require like a carbon footprint. So this could help us a lot with global warming. Like, this is just a really good thing. This is just awesome, okay? This is a good thing for our kids, our grandkids, mainly like my generation. This will be really good for like my grandkids. Bill Nye thinks it could even be good for my children, but a lot of people think it's gonna be like, you know, because I just saw the other day a freaking glacier the size of the UK done broke off. Like, we need to do something different. So this is just awesome. And the fact that it happened in the United States, the discovery, crazy. Like, what the hell? So what is my theory about this? Now, this theory is something a lot of people already have, but the only reason they're not talking about it is because, again, this just happened. I think there is going to be nuclear fusion powered everything. I'm talking homes, cars, cell phones.
And I'm not saying that these things like don't exist or do not have prototypes already today. I'm just saying that these things will be common. Like, it'll just be common the way that the automobile became common in our society, you know.
People are already investing in the billions. This happened in December, but they just let it out the bag in January. People have been investing since November 2022. And I feel like this is going to start a whole new generational wealth cycle for a lot of people. And this is just going to dominate. This is going to be the new industrial revolution. Like, I really do think that this is going to be big for mankind. I really do. Maybe, do y'all think I'm giving it a little too much? Do y'all think it's not gonna be that crazy? Let me know in the comments below. I'm seeing nuclear fusion powered homes, boats, cars, planes. Like, now who is going to be in charge? Who's going to be getting all the money from those? Who's going to monopolize it? Now that is where the future comes in and why people are so quick to invest.
Speaking of monopoly, I mean, it's still the world, girl. You know, somebody got to make money somehow. And I do think that there are going to be penalties in the future for people using old ways to get power. So anything that does leave a carbon footprint, like burning coal, gas, all that, you know, like, I think there's going to be penalties for that in the future. And of course, there are going to be people that still use it, but they're going to be able to afford to pay those penalties. But that's just my theory, you know, it's just what I think.
But hey. So this next one is pretty creepy, but it also kind of ties into psychology. So if any of you guys are interested in like psychological stuff like that, you might really enjoy this. We have recently discovered, and we knew this with the COVID vaccine and the mRNA and stuff like that, but we can now erase aging by erasing negative epigenetic factors from your DNA makeup.
Now, in what the researchers are calling the first study of its kind, Sinclair and his team were able to age the mice and then make them younger again. In this video shared by Harvard, these mice are the same age, yet one is visibly older. How did they do it? By literally breaking up the DNA, forcing the body to repair itself. Sinclair believes the root cause of aging and health decline stems from damage to the so-called epigenome, the part of our cells that turn genes on or off.
For those of you guys that don't know what epigenetics is, that's basically like nature versus nurture. So, you know, you're you, but then you get put into the jungle. So now the jungle has raised you type thing. Like, you're going to have different traumas from being in the jungle. You're going to have different skill sets from being in the jungle. You might speak a different language, which comes from a different culture from being in the jungle. Like, that's epigenetics, and you could pass those on to your children. So what this could do is actually pick apart that part of the DNA and erase that specific epigenetic factor. What it cannot do, what it can't do is be like, okay, you don't want brown hair, but you are already born and have been living on this earth. We're gonna mess this up and give you blonde hair or red hair. Like, it's not gonna be like that. This could help a lot of people with like post-stress disorders. It could help a lot of people that have illnesses from living in certain places. Like, maybe you have respiratory issues from certain things like that was not naturally there. Very interesting.
So as of right now, though, it's being used for very vain things. So this is being introduced to us as the public as a beauty treatment. So you furrow your brow when you squint at your screen too much, and now you have lines on your forehead. We could reverse that. Your hair turned gray because you got an office job at 21 and that wasn't in your genes, but it just happened. We could reverse that. Like, this could be used for so much cooler stuff is all I'm saying.
Now, here's my theory. I feel like this whole trying to preserve the human body thing is a bust. It's a whole bust because we're in a meat suit at the end of the day. We're not supposed to be here for a while. And I know a lot of different, I don't really like to hit on religion too much, but there are a lot of religious texts that indicate that, you know, we're meant to live a little bit longer of a lifespan than what we're living right now. But to the contrary, I feel like our lifespan has been elongating over the recent history anyway, the recent 21st, 20th century. We've been getting taller and we've been living longer. And I think it's because of our advancements in medicine, you know, and antibiotics, penicillin, stuff like that. Having knowledge of certain things like Now we know cigarettes will give us cancer. Laying out in the sun will give us cancer. Like, we know certain things now that we did not know back then that does keep us longer. And I feel like it's just this rat race of paranoia, of the human fear of the unknown, of dying. And I don't think the answer to keeping us here is to keep the meat suit. Because then we're going to be zombies for real. Then we're really going to be like cyborgs, like little baby pieces of skin, and like the majority of us robots, like just trying to hang on to that little piece of humanity. It's gonna get to a point where we're going to create a civilization that envies death. Like, I don't even want to be here in this nasty ass meat suit anymore. I'd rather be Ghost in the Shell, upload me to the cloud. What do you guys think? Do you think, like, because I'm all for advancements when it comes to prolonging life. So, like, you know, you need a kidney. This anti-aging market is getting crazy. It really is. This last one, I actually do have a lot to say about. And again, on like why I don't really like to touch on religion and stuff like that, and politics too much. So recently we had a crazy accomplishment in science where some scientists did make a embryo with a heartbeat of a mouse, only made of stem cells. No sperm and no egg was used. Now, obviously, wherever the stem cells, the host of the stem cells were from, I believe they said it was human stem cells. I'm not really sure. I'll have to fact check. I'll put a video up in a second. Obviously, those were made with the creation of a sperm and an egg, right? So what came first, the chicken or the egg? But it's just really interesting that they didn't have to incubate it in an actual uterus, because that's usually how it's done. No, they just had their own little incubator with the embryo. Here, I'll show you.
From the Weizmann Institute of Science in Israel, where scientists recently grew more than 1,000 mice embryos inside artificial wombs.
A special device that we have made and special media that allows to grow natural mouse embryos. So use the same system, and we can put stem cells that are grown in the dish for a long time. We can put them in these conditions, and they self-organize alone over 8 days into a whole embryo.
Up until now, researchers could only fertilize eggs from mammals in the lab and grow them for a short time. A developmental biologist at the Weizmann Institute of Science told Technology Review, quote, "This sets the stage for other species. I hope that it will allow scientists to grow human embryos until week 5.
So what is crazy about this is the lifespan of or the pregnancy span of a mouse is about 20 days. And they could only get these embryos to stay alive for maybe like 12 or so. Like, that's still crazy close to a full term. But regardless, I feel like this is a big deal because in the United States, we do such a big thing about heartbeat. And you could see the baby mouse heartbeat, like, bro, like that, they actually created life on some mad scientist shit. And I could see this being used for like farming purposes. This is my theory. I could see this being used for farming purposes. I could see it used to make, oh my god, this is so dark, but to like on some the Matrix shit, like make people for, or just make organs, I should say. But in order to make organs, you got to make the people. Because the problem with the whole organ printing thing right now, because I know y'all are probably seeing like, we got all these 3D printings. How come they can't get the organ printing right? Like, why do we got this black market for organs? Organs are so freaking complex. Anything inside of your body is so complex. All of the tissues, the veins, the nerves, like it has to be copied exactly, or else it will not work. Your body could shut down, reject it, and you could possibly die. So it's not as easy as you think, but you also can't just like grow an organ out of nothing, you know? I don't know. I see why people are kind of scared of this and why they're like, this is a little creepy. Of course, you have a certain sect of people who are being very, you know, transphobic, homophobic, whatever. Then some people are bringing religion into it. I think that it is some mad scientist stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I do, because I'm just like, what's the point of this experiment? I don't know, maybe this is a whole separate theory of my own, but I always thought that, you know, maybe at a point in time human beings were asexual beings, And the only reason why we decided to split into male and female was to further our gene pool, right? Because why do men have nipples? Why do men start out as women in the womb instead of having a little, you know, y'all have what we got? Like, I always thought, you know, the whole chicken and the egg scenario. That's my theory, obviously. But it's like, what is the point of this? Like, what is the point? Like, what is your end goal? And then I wasn't gonna say this either, but I saw this one dude who, because I couldn't figure out how to fit this in the other video. I saw this one dude who, he's been trying to do this for some years, and he is trying to make the Invisible Man. He is trying to get squid, the squid capabilities of cloaking and camouflage, and add it to the human DNA so that we can camouflage ourselves.
Exploring proteins that are found in cephalopods and learning basic concepts from them, and then trying to translate some of those basic concepts into new types of technologies, and distilling those engineering principles into something unique that people can actually use and that they can wear or that they can apply in their daily lives.
It started out as him wanting to make like stickers and stuff, and then they put the stickers on the jackets and their camouflage. Then it turned into him wanting to make skin. And he's trying to play it off like, oh, I'm just so like inspired by the squids. Sir, no, you have like military prospects, and it's so obvious.
Blend in almost flawlessly with the background to hide from prey. Now one researcher wants to bring these deep-sea disguises onto land to help soldiers hide from the enemy.
There's like a lot of weird science going on, and I think it's because a lot of people are trying to get their name out there. They've been in hibernation during quarantine, studying, doing their own stuff, trying to make their own breakthroughs, because a lot of medical and tech, mainly health tech breakthroughs happened during the pandemic. And I think people are just trying to get a name for themselves because this shit is getting weird. What do you guys think? That's just my quick little part 2. I hope you guys didn't get too weirded out. But yeah, let me know what y'all think of this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Tell me what you taste, do you like them just for me? Do you like them just for me? I'm treated on my knees. It's so much that I need.